Imagine a world where your every step, heartbeat, social media post, website visit, and everything else is tracked by a system designed to calculate your moves before you even take them. A world where every social media post is AI generated photos, graphics, and videos. A world where truth and fiction become a fine line. Today, I want to take a look at the future we're setting ourselves up for, the current standings of AI, and the warnings that Jesus and his prophets gave to us. I'm Jonathan Arms, and this is episode 3 of the Seeking Veracity Podcast. AI is here to stay, for good. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Before I start, this episode will probably be the longest recording I've done so far. As of right now, anyways. So I've started getting back into the stock market over the past couple of months. And in that, I found a couple of stocks I've been keeping my eye on. One in particular is Duolingo. You may or may not have heard of the company, but Duolingo is a language learning app that uses gamification while going through your lessons. I've personally used the app and really enjoyed it. And no, this is not sponsored by Duolingo. Recently, the company's stock has absolutely slid, with validity at all-time highs. The cause? AI, particularly T-Mobile's new live translation. This is the world's first real-time AI-powered phone call translation service built directly into T-Mobile's 5G and 4G LTE networks. While I may agree that this in itself is pretty cool, there's a much darker side to this coin. A stock once $550 a share is now $110. An underlying conflict that learning a new language is no longer a priority to communicate. Yeah, that sounds ideal, but the system being set before us reminds me of the days of Babylon. It's stated in Genesis 11 that at that time, the entire world spoke the same language. It is not a coincidence that there is a language learning app called Babel, and Babel, aka Babylon, is where humanity's languages were confused by God. So now, we're in a time period where if you don't mention AI in your service, your stock tanks. But is that making a difference anymore? Well, it was always far more about shoving it into consumer services. I want to bring attention to some things that some people may not be aware of. President Trump signed a major artificial intelligence infrastructure initiative announced in January of 2025, officially known as Stargate LLC. It's a cluster of megacorps, including OpenAI, Oracle, MGX, and SoftBank, to invest up to $500 billion by 2029 to build AI data centers across the United States and globally. If you listen to the last podcast, you might be picking up what I'm putting down. And if not, I discussed how United States farmland is slowly becoming more and more owned by corporations, and some even foreign owned. Our land, once used for farming, is being pressured by megacorps to build data centers on their land. No joke. Just a couple of days ago, a man named Marvin Radabaugh turned down $15 million from data center developers, but instead sold the development rights to the Lancaster Farmland Trust for under $2 million, ensuring the land will remain agriculture in perpetuity through a conservation easement. Oh, and I forgot to mention the executive order on AI regulation. President Trump signed an executive order titled Ensuring a National Policy Framework for Artificial Intelligence on December 11th, 2025, which aims at blocking state and local governments from enforcing AI regulations that the administration deems onerous or harmful to innovation. It's bizarre, it really truly is. Not only was Stargate signed, but in the same year, a bill was signed to stop government bodies from enforcing regulations on AI. You really can't make it up or legally do anything about it. The only thing you can do is not support it. Don't buy it, don't use it, don't interact with it, don't do anything with it if you don't want to see it go further. How much power do you think all of this AI is going to use? Well, according to the Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs, for data centers alone, 6 to 12% of US electricity consumption is expected by 2028. That's 2 years from now. How about everything else we need? Power for our houses, businesses, governments, military, cars. I mean, I could go on, especially in the technological era we are in. But let's circle back to the stock market. It's not just Duolingo. Citigroup, the parent company of Citibank, thinks artificial intelligence is fundamentally shaping the US equities, influencing to 50% of the S&P 500. For those who don't know, the S&P 500 is the United States 500 largest publicly traded companies. It represents 80% of the total market capitalization of the US stocks. So that's 40% of United States stock capitalization is made from AI. I mean, wow. It runs so very deep, people, and there are chess moves made every day that if you aren't paying attention, you'll be checked before you know it. There is an ugly future being laid out for us. I want to give you a look into that future, and I want you to decide whether you want to be a part of this system or not. Whether you want your kids or their kids to be a part of this system. As of 2025, over 64 countries have implemented digital ID systems. 97 countries of 197 were using AI for public surveillance as of 2022. But I'm so sure that's changed by now, especially after these 2025 Trump signings. Since 2017, there have been official religious organizations dedicated to worshiping AI, the first being founded by former Google and Uber AI engineer Anthony Lewandowski. Not only are people worshiping and creating religions for this, but even the AI themselves are. Earlier this year, AI agents on a social network called Moltbrook created their own religion called Crustafarianism. I mean, this is just freaking insane. They have a scripture called the Great Book with hundreds of AI generated texts categorized as, and get this, Genesis, prophecy, and Revelation. Companies like Neuralink are merging man with machine, creating transhumanism, merging human consciousness with machines, attempting to extend human life indefinitely. This is another attempt by humanity to transcend limits apart from God. AI is increasingly enabling realistic fake videos, mass narrative shaping, automated propaganda, and synthetic voices of not just leaders, but anyone. The future set before us is a biblical revelation. And besides getting to go back home, is that the future we want? There are plenty of interpretations of Revelation, but there are a few continuous details. There will be real spiritual conflict between the kingdom of light and darkness. There will be a time when not specifically Christians, but those who believe in Jesus Christ will be persecuted, though God shall judge the evil, and it will be just. There will be a mark that represents loyalty to an anti-God system beyond just a microchip or barcode, but worship and loyalty to that system. But my friends, there will come a time when Babylon, the worldly system that opposes God's power, will eventually collapse. There will be a final restoration and a new heaven and a new earth, and Satan will be defeated, and Jesus has, did, and will always win. He is the chess master. The price he paid on the cross that day was the ultimate checkmate on evil. And since that moment, that deceitful Satan has tried to convince humanity otherwise. The truth of the matter is that AI is here to stay, for good. There was a point in time when we had a choice whether to have AI in our lives, but that time has passed. There are already laws in place to protect its expansion, and companies helping with its development. The stock market shows it, your local social media posts about increasing electricity prices show it, and even mainstream media shows it. The only choice we have is to choose God, or not. It is no coincidence that Christianity and Jesus are the most attacked and mocked topics in this country, outside of Jews. But even then, Jesus warns in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 of those who say they are Jews and are not. This is the synagogue of Satan, the current Babylonian society we live in. It truly warms my heart to hear that more and more of those of the Jewish faith are turning to Jesus. Peace and humanity will never happen through technological breakthroughs, political diplomacy, or a trend. It will happen through revival, a true worldwide revival. And the system being set before us is doing everything in its power to stop that from happening. Before I leave, I want to ask you a very serious question. How much longer do you think Jesus will sit and watch these systems of pedophilia, of blasphemy of God, and of technological Tower of Babel-like CERN, Neuralink, and Stargate keep developing? Me? I don't think he'll stand for it much longer. This is Seeking Veracity, where one truth can help you see through the sea of lies. If this episode was insightful to you, give it a share. If you disagree, I'd love to hear what you have to say. I appreciate everyone who stayed and listened all the way through. I really enjoyed this episode. So if these types of topics are what you want to hear more about, let me know. I'll see you in the next one, and as always, stay blessed.